The United Kingdom is grappling with a migrant crisis that has stirred deep emotions across the country. To better understand the gravity of this situation, I sat down with one of the UK's most controversial figures, Tommy Robinson. Known for his unfiltered opinions and staunch activism, Tommy is often painted by the media as a far-right extremist and racist. Yet, to his supporters, he is a patriot, a defender of British values in a time of unprecedented change. In this interview, Tommy Robinson speaks candidly about the challenges facing the UK due to the influx of migrants, offering a perspective that, whether you agree with it or not, is hard to ignore.
Inside the United Kingdom with the migrant crisis.
The migrant crisis, we're losing our culture, losing our identity, we're being replaced.
Tommy Robinson doesn't mince words when describing the situation. We're losing our culture, our identity. We're being replaced, he states bluntly. His voice carries the frustration of many who feel marginalized in their own country, driven out of towns and cities they once called home.
45, yeah? And 50% of the town is Pakistani Muslim. So I see the difference, I see the problems from...
According to Tommy, this crisis is more than just an influx of people. It's about the very fabric of British society being torn apart. He recalls his own hometown, 30 miles north of London, where the demographic changes over the years have been stark. When I was born in 1982, there was one mosque. Now there are 45, and 50% of the town is Pakistani Muslim. This shift, he argues, isn't just about numbers. It's about the cultural clash and the resulting tensions that have made many native Britons feel like strangers in their own land. The fear of speaking out due to cancel culture and the risk of being labeled a racist has silenced many. People have been scared into silence, scared of losing their jobs, he explains.
Aggression, Islamic domination, all these things. So I've spoke about it, but 15 years ago people didn't want to listen.
And where are the migrants coming from?
Everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So Afghanistan, Somalia, Eritrea, Pakistan, Iraq, Syria, they all say now.
When asked where these migrants are coming from, Tommy lists off countries with a level of certainty that only someone deeply invested in the topic would. Afghanistan, Somalia, Eritrea, Pakistan, Iraq, Syria. They come from everywhere. He asserts that these individuals are not genuine asylum seekers, noting that they pass through numerous safe countries, such as France, before reaching the UK.
Come here to the United Kingdom.
Because they get a free house, they get given priority above us, they get everything above us. So British people, you can go into this town centre, you'll find English people sleeping rough, homeless on the street. You go to a hotel and you'll see it full of 100 Pakistani men.
Tommy's point is clear. These migrants are coming to the UK because of the benefits they receive. They get a free house, priority above us, everything above us, he claims, painting a picture of a system that he believes unfairly advantages migrants over native citizens. The conversation then turns to the broader impact of this migrant influx on British society. You can go into town centers and find English people sleeping rough, homeless on the streets, Tommy says, contrasting this with migrants who he claims are housed in hotels, provided with free meals, money, and even phone credit. He laments the strain on public services, from the housing crisis to the difficulty of securing a dentist appointment. Young English people can't get on the property ladder, can't get a dentist appointment, he adds, highlighting the frustration of those who feel neglected by the state they've supported for generations. This is more than just an economic issue. It's about the perceived erosion of rights and freedoms. Tommy argues that the government is deliberately undermining the native population by allowing mass migration. We're being replaced. The whole of Europe is, he warns, referencing what he calls the Great Replacement, a term used by some to describe the demographic changes in Europe.
Your borders didn't open at the same time with our borders. Every border in Europe opened at the same time. 8 million people come through yours. They talk about them, literally, they took out Gaddafi, they opened up the floodgates to Europe by taking him out, and the migrants literally go 20 metres off the coast of Libya and they get picked up by NGOs, which are funded by the German government, and then they get brought into Europe. And as they're brought into Europe, they come into our communities, they break down our communities, we're weakened, so and part of it is we're...
Tommy Robinson believes that this crisis is not a coincidence, but part of a larger, more sinister agenda. None of this is a mistake, he asserts. He ties the migrant crisis to broader geopolitical events, such as the fall of Gaddafi and the opening of European borders. They took out Gaddafi and opened up the floodgates to Europe. He also criticizes NGOs, particularly those funded by the German government, for facilitating the movement of migrants into Europe. They're picked up off the coast of Libya and brought into Europe, breaking down our communities, he says, pointing to a deliberate effort to weaken the social fabric of European nations. Tommy's message is clear. The UK is at a tipping point. The failure to address these issues will lead to the further degradation of British society. He speaks passionately about the impact on safety, particularly for women, and the loss of a sense of security in many communities. He describes no-go areas where British women would be scared to walk, suggesting that the importation of certain cultural practices has led to the deterioration of societal norms that were once taken for granted.
Powerful message that we're not sitting by silently while you replace us. We're not sitting by silently while you keep the borders open and you destroy our security, our stability, and the future of our for our children.
What can we expect to see tomorrow at the rally?
Who knows?
As the interview draws to a close, Tommy Robinson shares his thoughts on the upcoming rally, which he believes will be the largest gathering of patriots the UK has ever seen. We're going to send a powerful message that we're not sitting by silently while you replace us, he declares, emphasizing the need for unity and action. Tommy Robinson's views are undeniably polarizing. To some, he's a voice of reason in a time of chaos. To others, he represents a dangerous brand of nationalism. Regardless of where you stand, it's clear that the migrant crisis is an issue that has deeply divided the United Kingdom. As the UK grapples with these challenges, the questions Tommy raises cannot be easily dismissed. Are the concerns about cultural identity, security, and the future of the nation valid, or are they fueled by fear and misinformation? The answer may lie somewhere in between, but what's certain is that the debate is far from over.